Referred to as Heavenly Road, Qinghai Tibet Railway is the highest and longest railway in the world, with a very famous landscape rail line. The railway starts from Xining to Lhasa with a total length of 1,956 kilometers. We can see half of the railway is built in a section with an average altitude of 4,600 meters or higher. And the oxygen content here is less than half of that in plain areas, so it brings a great challenge to the passengers. So how to take a train to Lhasa? As shown in the video, all Tibet trains will gather in Xining, then to Lhasa. The price of Tibet trains from major cities to Lhasa is affordable. Here is the train schedule. You can pause and see. Now, let's start our journey. The starting point is Xining, the capital of Qinghai province. If you have time, you're recommended to visit Tair Temple, 25 kilometers away from downtown. It is one of the 6 largest temples of Gahai sect of Tibetan Buddhism and the birthplace of Master Tsongkhapa, the founder of the Gahai sect. In this video, the Qinghai Tibet Railway is marked in blue and the Qinghai Tibet Highway is marked in red. Follow the river valley and reach Huangyuan, also the fork of the Qinghai Tibet Highway and Railway. The lake in the distance is the Qinghai Lake. Let's zoom out of the map. We can see that the Qinghai Tibet Highway goes around the south side of the lake, and the Qinghai Tibet Railway goes around the north side of the lake. Since the south side of the lake is more popular, let's take a look at the scenery there. The first thing that caught our eyes was the Ryu Mountain Pass. Only after crossing it, we officially entered the Qinghai Tibet Plateau. It was here that Princess Wencheng looked back at her hometown before entering Tibet. After crossing Ryu Mountain, we will pass by Inverted River, which is the only river in the world that flows from east to west, merging to Qinghai Lake. Here's a point: the Inverted River and the Yellow River are separated by only a mountain. Qinghai Lake should have flowed to the Yellow River through the Inverted River. But due to the geological movement of the Qinghai Tibet Plateau, the raised terrain changed the direction of the river and formed a spectacle of inverted flow. As we continue to ride forward, Qinghai Lake unfolds in front of us. It is the largest island lake and the largest saltwater lake in China. When you see it, you will figure out the Chinese meaning of Qinghai, like a sea in cyan color. Such a beautiful scenery is worthy of countless tourists coming here every year. On the south side of the lake, there is Erlangejian Scenic Spot and Haimahi Village, both of which are excellent places to enjoy the lake view. And a bird island sits in the center of the lake, where hundreds of thousands of birds inhabit, and it's reachable by boat. The other side of the lake is quite romantic. The Jinyintan Scenic Resort here is a typical pastoral area and the birthplace of the folk song From Afar in western China. Maybe only on this endless grassland can such a romantic ballad be played. On the Gangcha grassland, the 6th Dalai Lama disappeared here, and the Qinghai Lake is just like his last tear. After passing by Qinghai Lake, we will climb over a mountain pass and enter a golden world. The highway will cross Jiangpi Mountain and the railway will cross Tianjin Mountain. Firstly, we will come to Jiangpi Mountain, which is the boundary mountain between Qinghai Lake and Qaidam Basin. Climb over the Jiangpi Mountain is the Qaidam Basin, which is the golden world mentioned above. Not far ahead is the Chaka Salt Lake. It is popularly known as Mirror of the Sky to travel and photography enthusiasts. After Chaka, the route is now divided into 2 directions, north and south, both ending at Golmud. The south side is the Qinghai Tibet Highway. The north side is the railway, paralleling to National Highway G315. What we are seeing now is the Qinghai Tibet Highway. The geological landscape makes you feel that the world is vast and endless. Next, we'll proceed along the Qinghai Tibet Railway. Looking right from the fork in the road now, you can see a series of solemn mountains called Tianjin. Continue going ahead. You will see a golden world. On both sides, white salt marshes appear from time to time, which is the typical landform of the Qaidam Basin. What we're seeing now is Gahai Lake. It is close to the road and railroad, so it can be seen while riding. From Gahai Lake, a city not far ahead is Delinga, which means Golden World in Mongolian. It is a quiet little city of the Gobi Desert, also a very important rest and supply point along the way. Leaving Delinga, a short distance away, we will be greeted by a pair of sister lakes, through which the Qinghai Tibet Railway passes. The first lake comes into view is Keluk Lake, a famous freshwater lake. Then comes Taosu Lake on the left, famous for its alien ruins, as well as a saltwater lake with a very blue surface. We continue moving along, and the road and railroad will be separated again for a short time. This time we'll go along the road first. We can see in the vast Gobi, the road stretches for hundreds of kilometers. Now what comes into view is Little Qaidam Lake. It is close to the highway with its vast water area. Especially at sunset, the view is even more beautiful. Leaving Little Qaidam Lake, we turn around. We will go all the way to the south, and the next stop is Forehand Salt Lake, where the road and the railroad intersect once again. A palette-like salt lake comes to our eyes. It is the largest salt lake in China, which salt reserves can feed the whole world for 1,000 years. Leaving Forehand Salt Lake, we'll drive to the end of this stage, Golmud. The mountains in the distance are the Kunlun Mountains, the ancestor of 10,000 mountains. What we are seeing now is Golmud in the vast Gobi. It is necessary to rest and supply in time here. Because after passing Golmud, we will usher in the most difficult section of the whole journey. From Golmud to Nagkube, the total distance is more than 800 kilometers. On the way, we will pass through the two uninhabited areas of Hozil and Qingtang, and the altitude there rises sharply to more than 4,500 meters. As we move on, the magnificent Kunlun Mountain has come into view, which carries almost half of the ancient Chinese mythology. It is also the most dangerous mountainous section of the entire route, but no need to worry too much, as its ruggedness is not as terrible as imagined. Continue climbing along the terrain. Snowy mountains appear upon our sight. We are now facing the Yuzu Peak, with a round and full shape. From here to the Kunlun Pass, there are snow-capped mountains all the way. The road and the railway proceed in parallel, and after a long, gentle upward slope, we will arrive at the top of Kunlun Mountain. Here happens to be a gap in the middle of the mountain, through which roads and railway pass. On the other side of the mountain is Hozil, and what we're seeing now is the Kunlun Mountain Pass, which is more than 4,700 meters. Now we have entered the core area of Hozil. Looking around, you will have a broad range of words such as magnificent and vast in your mind. Then we will arrive at the next stop, Wudaoliang. At its straight line distance of about 100 kilometers, there is a magical lake, Zunai Lake, also called Large Delivery Room of Tibetan Antelopes. From every May to June, Tibetan antelopes of Hozil travel thousands of miles to give birth here. If you happen to visit at this season, you might be lucky to see these highland elves on the highway. Now we are reaching Fenghuo Mountain. The scenery in this section is relatively dull, so we won't elaborate on it. Then we will get to the Tanggula mountain town by Tuotuo River, the source of Yangtze River. Tuotuo River means Red River in Tibetan. As in the video, it looks like the veins of the earth. From Tanggulu mountain town to the next supply point, Yanshiping, it is more than 100 kilometers. After Yanchiping, we will climb over the highest mountain, Tenggula, of the whole journey. Here, the highway and railway separate again. Now let's appreciate the scenery of the highest mountain pass along the way. What we're seeing now is Tenggula Mountain Pass. The glacier extends to the edge of the road. After Tenggula Mountain, we will enter Amdo, the first county in Tibet on the way, which means we have entered the inhabited Qinghai Plateau in northern Tibet. It is more than 4,800 meters above sea level, known as the highest county in the world. Keep moving forward, you will see a beautiful lake appearing by the railroad, Kona Lake. It is the source of the Nujiang River, also Salween River in Southeast Asia, and it eventually flows into the Indian Ocean. Continue our journey. We're now arriving at the terminal point of this stage, Nagkyu, where the northern route of Sichuan Tibet Highway, G317 National Highway, and Qinghai Tibet Highway are met. The rest of the itinerary is from Nagkyu to Lhasa. The altitude would gradually decrease. This stage is about 300 kilometers. In this stage, we will first cross the Nagkyu Prairie. The surrounding environment is no longer so uninhabited. We'll twist down along mountain Nyeching Tenggula Mountain will be appearing in front of us. On the left side of the mountain is Damzang, and on the right side is the well-known Namso Lake. Starting from Damzang, we can reach Namso by crossing over Haxeligan Pass. Leaving Damzang, riding along the foothills of Ningchai Tenggula, we will arrive at Yangpachen. It's famous for the geothermal energy. After passing Yangpachen and going along the river valley, we will arrive at the final destination, Lhasa, capital of Tibet. Our Qinghai Tibet trip ends here. Remember to follow the local customs and taboos. Here are some takeaway points for your reference.